The cameras flashed, the crowd froze, and just like that, Hollywood had a new obsession. The glittering villa of Love Island, USA was supposed to be a paradise of romance. But in the blink of an eye, a digital ghost from the past turned a dream vacation into a national scandal. Welcome to Starscope Report. Join Jordan and Jamie as they uncover Hollywood drama, music industry shakeups, and viral influencer scandals. From red carpet surprises to social media controversies, we dive deep into the stories behind the fame.
We really do, and today's a massive one.
Yeah, it is. Today, our mission in this deep dive is to explore a headline that has just completely hijacked the internet over the last few days. The headline is, Love Island's biggest controversy just took another turn.
It's just everywhere you look right now.
Right. So we are breaking down the incredibly sudden removal of Season 8 contestant Alannah Keyser, the intense public backlash that followed, and the shocking pattern of casting controversies currently haunting this hit reality show. We've got the timeline, we've got statements from TMZ and The Independent, and all the massive debates unfolding on Reddit.
Yeah, and the stack of sources we have today paints a really fascinating picture of modern media. I mean, this goes so far beyond just regular reality television gossip.
Oh, absolutely.
We're looking at like a real-time case study in the mechanics of crisis PR, the illusion of digital permanence, and the incredibly complex machinery required to produce a television show that airs almost concurrently with real life.
So true. Well, let's get right into the timeline of the actual event. So we are looking at Season 8 of Love Island USA 2026. Alannah Keyser, a 21-year-old USC film student, a Miami native of Colombian descent, walks into Casa Amor as a bombshell on day 16.
Which is always a huge moment on the show.
Exactly. And she immediately pairs up with original Islander Zach George. So she's getting massive screen time. She is totally central to the narrative. And then, practically the second her face hits national television, a 6-year-old video surfaces online.
Right. And the speed of the internet's reaction was, I think, the first major mechanism at play here. The video in question was originally recorded on Snapchat, showing Alannah at a Miami party lip-syncing to Roddy Ricch's 2019 hit, The Box.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And she's visibly mouthing a racial slur in the video. Within hours of her network debut on Peacock, reality TV fan accounts and news aggregation pages just had this clip circulating at viral velocity.
Wildfire, yeah.
Exactly. The Reddit community, specifically our Love Island USA, just erupted, with fans tagging the network and demanding her immediate removal.
But wait, I have to stop you there and push back on the network's role in all of this, because isn't this ultimately a massive failure on the part of Peacock and their production company?
I would think so.
I mean, they have millions of dollars to run background checks. Are you telling me a major network cannot hire a digital forensics team or like a private investigator to find this stuff before they put someone on international television?
Well, it seems completely counterintuitive that a massive corporation would miss this. But it actually exposes a phenomenon we can call digital asymmetry.
Okay, digital asymmetry.
Yeah, the power dynamic of information access is just fundamentally shifted. When a network runs a background check today, they are essentially using software to scrape public APIs.
Right.
So they scan public Twitter feeds, public Instagram profiles, and public TikToks looking for specific flagged keywords.
So they're only looking at the front yard of someone's digital house, not what's locked in the basement.
That is a great way to look at it, actually, because Snapchat, by its very design, is what we call dark social. It is heavily encrypted, often private, and crucially, it's ephemeral.
Right, the content is literally designed to disappear.
Exactly. A corporate scraping tool literally cannot ping a Snapchat server and retrieve a private deleted video from 6 years ago. The only entity that possesses that video is a human being, like likely a high school peer who manually used a screen recording function to save it to their personal camera roll 6 years ago.
Which is wild. So this means the network actually has less access to a contestant's digital past than a vindictive former classmate with an iPhone.
Precisely. The network is completely blind to it until that former classmate decides to upload it to a public forum. This is the essence of digital asymmetry.
Wow.
The corporation only has access to the curated, public-facing persona, while the localized, decentralized crowd holds all the private, unvarnished data.
Okay, that definitely explains the initial blind spot.
Mm-hmm.
But the handling of the fallout on the show itself felt incredibly chaotic. I mean, you're sitting on your couch, watching this girl flirt and build a connection on TV, while simultaneously scrolling on your phone and seeing him entirely canceled in real time.
It was a very surreal viewing experience.
Totally. But then on the actual show, she was still there. Fans were so confused when she remained on screen during episode 20.
Right, and this brings us to the logistical high-wire act of reality TV production. We really have to look at the temporal mechanics here.
The time zones, right?
Yeah. Filming takes place in Fiji. Fiji is 16 hours ahead of the east coast of the United States. Furthermore, the episodes you watch are typically edited 1 to 2 days before they are broadcast.
It's like NASA receiving pictures from a Mars rover. By the time Mission Control in Houston gets the photograph and looks at the terrain, the rover itself is already miles away.
That's a perfect analogy.
Right. Peacock was editing a ghost. By the time Alannah was introduced on our screens on Tuesday and the internet unearthed this video, the Alannah in Fiji had already lived through Wednesday and Thursday.
Exactly. The production team in Los Angeles was staring at terabytes of footage that had already been ingested, logged, cut, and locked for broadcast. When a scandal of this magnitude breaks on the internet, the PR team has to monitor the social sentiment, escalate it to the legal department to review the contestants' morals clause, and then they have to contact the executive producers on set in Fiji.
All while the producers in Fiji have to, pull her aside, take her out of the villa environment, and somehow explain to the rest of the cast what just happened without breaking the fourth wall of the show.
It's a nightmare. And the editing bay in Los Angeles then has a matter of hours to recall an already finished episode from the server, strip out a main character storyline, and stitch the narrative back together so it makes coherent sense for the viewer that evening.
Which is so hard to do seamlessly.
It really is. And that is why the on-air handling felt so jarring. After a commercial break, the narrator, Ian Sterling, simply provided a voiceover stating, "Alannah has left Casa Amor." There was no grand explanation, no farewell. The logistical reality forced this sudden, unceremonious deletion from the broadcast.
Which was so abrupt, and that's not even the wildest part. Wait until you hear the bizarre defense her family gave to the press that set the internet on fire all over again. If you're loving these Hollywood twists, make sure you're subscribed. We've got even crazier stories ahead.
Yeah, the defense was definitely a choice.
Seriously. The public rejecting her defense actually points to a much bigger sociological shift. Let's look at how this played out in the real world, because the crisis PR strategy here backfired spectacularly.
It really did. Once Alannah was removed from the villa vacuum and given her phone back, she entered the real-world fallout. She posted a public apology on TikTok.
As they always do.
Right. And the mechanics of the apology were standard for the current era. She stated she does not support racism or discrimination, emphasized that the video was from 6 years ago, and claimed the word is no longer in her vocabulary. She also asserted that other screenshots circulating online, which allegedly showed her using the slur in private text messages, were entirely fabricated.
Yeah, we see that Notes app or somber TikTok apology almost weekly in pop culture now. But the story pivots wildly when her family gets involved.
Yeah, that was the turning point.
A TMZ report drops, revealing that Alannah's father stepped in to speak to the press to try and manage his daughter's reputation. He claimed she is absolutely not racist, but his specific phrasing ignited a secondary firestorm. He described his daughter as an educated sweetheart.
And man, the internet court of public opinion immediately dissected that phrase. If we look at the reaction on Reddit, specifically the r/White community, which operates as a massive, highly analytical hub for pop culture commentary, the pushback was fierce.
Oh, they did not hold back.
Not at all. Users unpacked the sociological implications of the father's statement, completely rejecting the correlation he attempted to draw. He relied on the premise that being educated inherently precludes someone from being prejudiced.
And the commenters immediately flagged that as a deeply classist assumption, the idea that racism or ignorance only exists in uneducated circles.
Exactly. The r/Moy users brought historical and contemporary data to dismantle that defense. We're just reporting what they discussed here, but they cited high-profile political figures with advanced degrees to illustrate that higher education does not eradicate prejudice.
Interesting. Who did they bring up?
For instance, the thread highlighted Kevin Roberts, the president of the Heritage Foundation, and a key figure behind Project 2025. Users pointed out that Roberts holds a PhD in American history with a focus on African American studies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, so the collective argument the internet was making was that highly educated people can still hold or perpetuate prejudiced views.
Yeah.
And therefore, an educated sweetheart should actually know better than to use a racial slur, rather than using that education as a shield against accountability.
Which makes sense as a counter-argument. It turned the reality TV scandal into a massive crowdsourced debate about race, class, and the limits of the American education system. It really makes you rethink the whole concept of a digital footprint.
It really does.
We used to describe the internet as writing your name in wet cement. But honestly, it functions much more like digital carbon dating.
Ooh, I like that.
Right. You leave a trace in the sediment when you're 14 or 15 years old. It gets buried under years of new data, new platforms, new versions of yourself. But an internet sleuth can excavate that sediment at any time, run a diagnostic on it, and present it to the world.
And they will?
They always do. So my question to you is, considering how deep this sediment goes for Gen Z, is the classic "she was young, she didn't know better" defense even structurally viable anymore?
Well, the consensus among crisis managers and audiences seems to be a resounding no. The societal expectation regarding online hygiene has evolved rapidly.
It's a whole new standard.
Exactly. When an individual signs a contract to step into the highly valuable, monetized arena of reality television, the public expectation is that they have already audited their own digital sediment. The audience assumes you have done the excavation work yourself.
And if you haven't?
If you haven't, the public, and consequently, the networks who rely on public goodwill, are increasingly unwilling to accept youth as an excuse for harmful language. The burden of proof for a clean past has shifted entirely onto the contestant.
Wow. And later in the deep dive, we'll talk about the shocking twist nobody saw coming. This isn't an isolated incident. There is a dark pattern emerging behind the scenes of the villa.
Yeah, when we zoom out from the specific mechanics of the Alannah Keyser incident, a much larger systemic crisis within the reality TV casting pipeline reveals itself. This is a structural failure, specifically plaguing Love Island USA.
The statistics pulled from our sources are staggering. In just a 2-season span, Season 7 and Season 8, 4 different islanders have been ousted from the show for past racist behavior.
4 people in 2 seasons.
Let's look at the timeline. Before Season 8 even premiered on June 2nd, a cast member named Vasana Montgomery was announced in the original lineup. 2 days later, Peacock pulled her before she even stepped foot on set because videos resurfaced of her using the N-word.
And the pattern was identical in Season 7. Yulissa Escobar was removed from the villa after just 1 day of filming because podcast clips surfaced featuring her using a racial slur.
Just 1 day.
Yeah. And then weeks later in that same season, Sierra Ortega was removed after a video surfaced of her using racist language regarding Asian eyes.
So why do they keep casting these people? If this is a known recurring nightmare for the network's PR and legal departments, why not just change the casting criteria?
Seems like the obvious solution, right?
Right. Cast people who aren't hyper online. Cast someone who doesn't have thousands of hours of digital sediment to excavate.
They can't, because doing so would destroy their core business model. This is the central paradox of modern reality television casting. Networks like Peacock are actively seeking out young, attractive, hyper-online influencers.
I see.
They want contestants who already understand how to perform for a camera, who understand viral dynamics, and who bring their own built-in social media followings to boost the show's ratings.
You need the audience they command on TikTok and Instagram to drive the engagement metrics for the television broadcast.
Exactly. But by targeting a demographic whose entire lives, like every thought, joke, party, and mistake since they were pre-teens, have been documented on ephemeral apps, the network is exposing itself to massive liability.
They want it both ways.
Yes, they want the benefits of a hyper-online cast, but demand the pristine, corporate-approved background of someone who has never used the internet. The two things are mutually exclusive.
Stay tuned and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Because the sheer scale of this problem changes how you view the entire reality TV ecosystem.
It really forces networks to rely on incredibly strict morals clauses in their contracts. Because if the casting department knows their API scraping tools cannot find the hidden Snapchat videos.
Right, the digital asymmetry we talked about earlier.
Exactly. So they draft contracts that essentially say, if anything surfaces from your past that brings public disrepute to the network, we can terminate your participation immediately and potentially hold you liable for production costs.
Oh, wow. So the network knows they can't catch everything, so they build a legal trapdoor to drop the contestant the second the internet does the vetting for them.
The audience has effectively been transformed into a crowdsourced human resources department. The viewers are no longer passive consumers of a television product. They are active participants, serving as decentralized real-time background checkers.
That is insane to think about.
It is. The moment a new bombshell's face appears on screen, thousands of people are reverse image searching their photos, cross-referencing old usernames, and digging into the digital sediment. The traditional production schedule simply cannot outpace the collective investigative power of millions of viewers.
It is a fascinating, if slightly terrifying, machine to watch operate, and it leaves you with a lingering question to mull over long after the screen goes black. We are dealing with a generation whose entire adolescent development has been documented, saved, and weaponized on platforms built for sharing.
It's a whole new world.
It really is. Are we reaching a point where no one is truly vettable for reality TV anymore? Will the future of casting require complete digital amnesty, where audiences just accept that everyone has a problematic internet past? Or does this mean the end of casting the everyday person on reality TV altogether?
That's a big question.
It is. You've been listening to Starscope Report, where Jordan and Jamie uncover the stories shaping Hollywood, music, and pop culture. Thanks for tuning in, and don't forget to subscribe for more stories that keep the stars shining.